I'm Mike Hargan, and today we're going to be doing something a little different than a lot of sales talks that you're used to getting. When I interview Mr. Bill Brooks, who is the CEO and founder of the Brooks Group, we're going to do a lot of talking about research that was done with how many? 1,200 clients?
Actually, it's 12,000 face-to-face sales interviews and over 3,000 individual prospects on a more in-depth way.
Wow.
And what we're going to be talking about are what we call 10 proven work-saver techniques.
Okay. And this is all information that you've gathered. People have told you this. This is from the research, so this just isn't your own brainstorm.
No, actually, the way the research was done, Mike, it was done by an associate of mine who unfortunately passed away several years ago. But I think the research is still valid.
Okay.
And the way that he did it was indirect preference testing and interception of people. And what he did is actually had a team of people that went out and researched and asked prospects and customers and decision makers within 24 hours about a sales call.
Okay.
You know, what happened, what transpired. And when we share this information, it's shocking to people. So I'm going to urge our sales managers to use this and replay it with your salespeople. You can use it for sales meetings, take the information. It's really interesting. And what we talk about is how you can help your salespeople sell more in the same amount of time or sell the same in less time.
Well, I think one of the biggest frustrations I had as a sales manager is when I would go out to visit one of my people who was struggling. And I found that this guy was up at 5 o'clock every morning, planning his day, making calls until the end of the day and still not making his numbers. And then I could call on other people that seemed to do it like falling off a log. And it was always difficult to me, you know, what could I do to help them? That obviously they're wasting a lot of time somewhere. It wasn't that they weren't willing to do it or they weren't spending the time at it. And I think when you look at techniques like this, it can make all the difference in the world.
It'll make all the difference in the world. And I'm going to tell you, Mike, some of the things we're going to share here today are things that we have never shared with any group, anywhere, at any time. Okay?
How cool is
so
that?
this is a first shot at this. So why don't you go ahead and introduce it so everybody knows what we're talking about.
If we look at whether it's a Fortune 500 company or even a small business down the block or any kind of business in between, WorkSaver techniques have made an incredibly large impact on them. They can do the same for you. And I mean, that's what I like about this, is that it is stuff that's proven.
Yeah, and we've only used this inside of companies. We've never used it in an open forum like this.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, this is the first time somebody outside of our client inner circle will have a chance to see it.
Pretty neat. So we can use them to save yourself a tremendous amount of time and effort and get rid of many of the frustrations you're experiencing as a sales manager, and also you feel the frustrations to your salespeople and gain a complete new understanding of the decision maker.
Very different things. Each one of these work-saver techniques, based on research done over the course of 30 years, with decision makers of every type, thousands of them.
So these are scientific facts.
These are science. This is not my opinion. See, the sales training and motivational business is filled full of someone's anecdotal observation, which is nothing more than one person's opinion. These are facts. This is data.
Wonderful.
This is information.
Okay.
A lot of the things we do is based on that, as you know, Mike, and you as a sales manager in the past understand that anecdotal stuff doesn't always work.
Well, typically it works for the person telling the anecdote.
Yeah, that's about it. Okay?
It worked for me, and I got lucky. So therefore, it's a rule.
What we're going to design this around, Mike, are three questions that really go through salespeople's heads.
Okay, and the first one I think is what goes on in the decision maker's head and when they're making a buying decision.
Yeah, what are they thinking? This research tells us what they were thinking at that time. And a lot of e-learning applications now are done where there's the bubble concept, where now it says, okay, the salesperson's here, but this little caricature over here says, what is this person really thinking? So we're going to say things like, to move from small talk to sales talk is difficult. In fact, lots of people don't want you to do that.
Sure.
The other question is, why is it so hard to make a sale?
Sure.
When there's an easier way to do it. And the truth is, most salespeople, frankly, make it harder than it is.
I would agree. And I think there's a lot of very hard-working, unsuccessful salespeople.
Yeah. Say that again, Mike. That's really good.
I think there's an awful lot of hard-working, unsuccessful salespeople.
Absolutely. And third, what is it that decision makers really, and I mean really want?
Well, if I knew the answers to that, it'd save me a lot of time.
Yeah,
when I'm
and
calling
that's
on
what
them or working with them.
that's what this is all about. It took us years of research in the field. And we talked and worked with all kinds of decision makers, decision maker after decision maker after
Now, when
decision
you say
maker.
decision maker, who are you talking about? CFOs, CEOs?
People who are responsible for a buying decision. In most cases, they were executives, managers, C-level people, purchasing managers, professionals, doctors, attorneys, people who were called upon by medical people, technology people, people who are medical equipment people,
Okay, so
capital
people in
equipment,
industry,
all kinds of industries,
Okay.
people who buy all kinds of things.
but all B2B sales.
All B2B.
This is professional to
Yeah,
professional.
this is professional to professional, B2B.
Okay.